So what's next for Liverpool? We've got just the man to ask. He's sitting right here with me, Stefan Szymanski. He's a professor of economics who's written extensively on the business of sport. Good to have you with us, Stefan.
Good morning.
No better man to discuss this story with. So the American owners have managed to block the sale of the club with a temporary restraining order. This just hours after the case in London was lost to RBS. I guess we're not going to see any swift conclusion to this story.
Well, probably not. We're going to have to probably see what goes on in the Texas court, and that's scheduled for hearing on the 25th. So that's delaying things a little bit. But I mean, we're moving on apace here. I mean, the court decision in yesterday was really about whether the agreement that Hicks and Gillette made with Martin Broughton as bringing him in as chairman, whether that was a valid legal contract that they had, and Broughton had the right to sell the club. Now he's taking it one higher and actually going after the RBS, who had imposed this really on the owners and said, otherwise we're going to foreclose on our loan, and now claiming that RBS is somehow trying to swindle them, trying to cheat Hicks and Gillette out of their money by underselling Liverpool, by selling it for less than it's worth, which seems like a fairly strange sort of accusation to make. Why would RBS really want to do such a thing? Why would that be in their interest? But
it's certainly not in the American owners' interest, because I guess they're going to lose a lot of money potentially.
Absolutely, but then the problem was that the club had lost a lot of value anyway, and so the argument really is whether they could have squeezed more out of it, whether if they'd have been allowed more time.
They were originally asking for, what, 800 million?
They think it's worth 800 million,
that's
but
overvalued.
It's really unlikely that anyone was going to come up with that kind of value.
And the judge in the British court has ruled out halting sale negotiations. What happens with that now?
Well, now that the Texas judge has imposed his own restraining order, it would be really unwise for RBS and the board to go through with the sale of the club. They really have to make sure that this injunction, they have to have their court hearing and have to see that through. Now, we know that RBS have been saying that actually the final date for them for foreclosing on this loan is the end of October, so 1st of November. So in fact there is time, if they get a judgment on October the 25th, for everything still to go through, and for this to, from the point of view of Liverpool fans, so the fans at the moment, for this to have a happy ending.
And of course, Liverpool's board has responded by saying that they are resolved for this sale to be completed. What are their options at this point?
Well, they could bring the new offers that we're hearing about in the press back onto the table. But clearly what Martin Broughton was saying, the board had actually made commitments to New England Sports Ventures. So again, if they were to bring those bids onto the table and start looking at them, then they'd have to possibly renege on an agreement. So they could be sued from the other side. So their safest bet is to try and get this injunction lifted and go through with the sale, probably, which they appear to have agreed.
Stefan Szymanski, Professor of Economics at Cass Business School, thank you very much for coming in. Great to talk to you.
Thank you.